What a series that was. What a series. The Phillies take 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. Not only do they solidify that they can hang with the Dodgers, which I already knew, but they solidified that they one of the best teams in baseball. Yeah, I know it's early in the season, blah, blah, blah. It's April. I don't give a damn. The Phillies showed up and showed out, taking 2 out of 3. Could have easily swept the Dodgers. That game 2 that they lost, they could have won. They gave up on some at-bats, bad at-bats that they had. It seemed like the Dodgers wanted to hand them that game. Alec Bohm swinging at the first pitch. I think Alec Bohm, not to put a damper on the series because it was a great series, but Alec Bohm, he got to understand. I know you're an aggressive hitter and all, but swinging at the first pitch, just about every at bat. I think he saw the total of 5 pitches, 5 through the whole game. That was game 2. But let's talk about the first game. We had Jesus Luzardo on the mound. He pitched 7 strong innings. Outside of Wheeler, he looking like the Phillies number 2. Like, outside of Wheeler, he's pitching lights out. He looking like the Phillies number 2 right now. He picks well. How about JT? Yeah, my boy, JT. You can't run on him. You can't run on him. He showed Shohei Ohtani, don't run on me. And then in the game, when was the last time y'all saw a game ended on a throw out from the catcher to second base? Like, when was the last time you saw that? I'm sure it happens, but it don't happen that often. Games don't end like that. JT still showing that he got that arm, and even batting a little better in the last couple series. So that's definitely a breath of fresh air to see JT doing his thing. Like I said, game 2 was a little lackluster. The bats did not wake up. The bats couldn't. You know what it was? Because, like I said, the Phillies could have won that game. They lost 3-1. They won the first game 3-2. They had poor at-bats. That's what it was. They had poor at-bats. They were swinging at bad pitches. The same suspects, Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos, Alec Bohm, I mentioned already. Just poor at-bats. Even Bryce Harper had a couple poor at-bats in that game. So it was what it was. They lost that game 3-1, but, they came back for the rubber match yesterday, Sunday. And it was an offensive show, mainly because of Lila walks. How about Tyler Glass now? How about him looking like a little leaguer out there, whining about the mound? Did you ever play in rain, dog? Did you ever play? And it wasn't even a pouring rain. It was drizzling. The mound was a little caked up, but I seen worse mounds in my day. He up there kicking on the rubber. And, oh man, I can't get my foot. Walking the world. He walked the world. I think he had like 4 straight walks. They had to get him out of there. 2 innings. Yeah, and that's the ace, Tyler Glass now. Or one of the aces. They got good pitchers there. But he's one of the best pitchers, so-called. And he looked like he was out there playing Little League, crying and pouting and throwing the hissy fit. It is what it is. But the Phillies did their thing. Sanchez was on the mound. Pitched 5 2/3. Sanchez clearly ain't have the best stuff. He managed, but he didn't have his best stuff. His changeup was okay. That's the signature pitch. But he didn't have his A1 stuff. So he got out of there. That same game, Marsh showed up big. And I ain't talking about the plate. He made an unbelievable catch in center field. I mean, unbelievable. I'm still trying to figure out how he caught it. His body was going one way and his arm was going another. If you watch that play again, just look at it in not even slow motion. You can just see it with a naked eye. His body was going one way and his arm was going another. And he made that catch. That saved us. That definitely saved us. Philly showed up and showed out. Obviously, the big blow was the Nick Castellanos Grand Slam. Grand Slam. Nick definitely showed up in that game. We doing our thing. Took 2 out of 3. One thing I did note in this series that a lot of people ain't talking about, the big man, Shohei Ohtani, best player in baseball, he did absolutely nothing. He went 1 for 11. He went 1 for 11. And he struck out at least 5 times. At least. He might have struck out more. For the whole series, I'm saying. He struck out. He went 1 for 11 with 5 punch-outs. He did nothing. Listen, I know how great of a player he is. I'm just saying, this particular series, he did nothing. That was a big encouraging thing. The Phillies are one of them teams. And they're supposed to be good. Let's be real. People picked them to win 95 games. They won 96 games last year. So they're not this surprising team. But I think this team is special. I think this team is going to be, on paper, they look like the same team for the most part. But they're going to be better than last year's team. Therefore, they're going to go further than last year's team. And I don't think their season is going to end until the World Series. Whether they win or lose, their season is going to end in the World Series. We're going to see how that go. But the Phillies definitely is encouraging. Got an off day today. I hate these off days early in the season. Because when you get amped up after a series like that, you want more baseball. Me, the true baseball fan to me, I want more. I want it every day. But they off today. Not the worst thing in the world, but not the best thing in the world from a viewer standpoint. They head out to Atlanta tomorrow for a 3-game series with the Braves. We're going to see what we do down there. Obviously, the Braves going through injuries. Jarrison Profar is on a suspension list. So that's one of the big bets that they signed in the offseason. Well, the big bet that they signed in the offseason. So they definitely shorthanded. But the Braves are still a well-managed team, and they still a good team, even with all their injuries. So we can't take them lightly. They've been struggling and scuffling this first week or two of the season. We want to keep our foot on their neck. Don't give them any light. Put them down because, like I said, they're going to get players back. Profar going to come back. So you want them down in the dumps. You only want your competition in your division just to be the Mets, and they barely competition. But I'll give them, that much credit. They've been playing well also these first week or so. So I don't want, because the Braves, they one of them teams that been there, done that. So you don't want that type of team to stick around. Take 2 out of 3 against them. Shit, maybe sweep them down there in Atlanta. Who knows? Definitely at least 2 out of 3. Y'all know my motto. Win every series. You're not going to sweep every team, but if you win every series, which is hard enough, you'll be you definitely win your division. You might be the first place team in the National League. Like I said, just wanted to give a wrap up on this series. It was a great series. Y'all see how hype it got me. I mean, Phillies, Dodgers, the first 2 weeks of the season, you rarely hear of that, like 2 powerhouse teams going at it this early, but I'm glad it ended the way it ended. Phillies is now 7-2. They got a 7-2 record, second best record in the National League, right behind the Dodgers. But the way they going, they doing their thing. Another side note I want to go on is Edmundo Sosa is still hot. He not red hot, but he hot. He had 2 hits in that 3rd game. They set Bohm, they claim it was like already planned, and it probably was, just to give him a day off. They also gave JT a day off. I seen that coming. But Bohm, after the game he had on Saturday, I didn't mind him sitting. He was just swinging at everything. Like, I get that you're aggressive, but if you swing that first pitch, make sure it's a good pitch. And even if you make an out, make sure it's a hard out. He's grounding out softly and hitting weak fly balls. Come on, you can't swing on the first pitch if that's what you're doing. It is what it is. Y'all know I like Bohm, but he can get under my skin sometimes with his approach. But that was just a little side topic. Sosa is still hot. Plan on seeing him at least a game in the series against Atlanta, at least one of the games, whether it's for Bohm, Trey, or even Stott. I could see him getting a game in one of those. And then we follow that series and we head to St. Louis. So that should be interesting. St. Louis not one of the upper echelon teams, but they're an okay team. They not the Nationals. They not the Rockies. They're one of those middle-end teams. So that should be interesting over there in St. Louis. We're going to wrap this one up. Just wanted to give y'all a quick little summary on that big series against the Dodgers. Phillies took it 2-1. Let's see what happens in Atlanta. Till next time, I catch y'all in the next one.